Hi everybody, back again with another Hot Toys figure video. This time it's Doctor Strange. I've had it about a month and I thought it's about time that I got round to doing a video on him. It is a really nice figure by Hot Toys. The head sculpt is pretty much spot on. I'll show you that in close detail in a little while. It's got a unique type box as well and quite a few accessories, which we will do first. This is just going to be a visual tour video of this figure. I'm not going to do any demonstration on articulation or anything like that. So the pose you see him in here is the pose you're going to see it throughout the whole video. I know that's boring, but if you want to see those sort of things where people change the poses around, then go and check out their channels rather than mine. It's just too time consuming for me to do that. I don't have the time to do it. I don't have the editing skills either to edit videos. I haven't really gone into that sort of area yet, but I will do it probably at some stage. So first things first, accessories. He comes with nine different hands. The two hands that are on the figure are the ones for holding the discs, as you can see. Well, they're not discs, it's the magic sort of symbols and that he fires out. He has two fisted hands, and with these hands Hot Toys have gone a little bit above and beyond what they normally do. I suppose it's because they're getting better and better at sculpting and moulding things now, but if you can notice on the hands, you've got all these lines that come across, like the veiny sort of look. I'm assuming that does have something to do with the way that he fires his magic out of his hands. Can't remember, it's been a while since I've seen the film. So he's got a left and right fisted hand. He's got a left and right sort of more gripping hand, which I suppose you could use for holding the book accessory, which I'll show you in a minute, or just like a little gesture, I suppose. He has two of these gesturing hands as well. See all the veins there on the hands, really nice. I apologise for the unkept nails on my fingers. Bit unsightly, but try and look past that. And he has this hand as well. And as I say, the two hands that are already on the figure, but you'll see that in a minute. As usual, you've got your two spare wrist pegs. He has two of these necklaces. Just get it. Can't remember the name of the necklace. There's people out there probably shouting it out to me what it is. But this is the closed version. Let's just get the camera a bit better. This is the closed version. The open version is on the figure, which you'll see when we take a look at that. It says in the instruction manual to take the head off and put this over his head, but you don't need to. It's wide enough, it will fit over his head perfectly, so you don't have to worry about pulling the head off. I'm always a bit wary about pulling heads off figures and that, because they can break sometimes, and it has happened to me in the past. He also has these three rings here. This is another one of his magical effects. If you wish to show him with this, you need to pull the hand off, and you push this one up first. It goes up over his forearm, and it does have detailing on it. Then a bit further down the arm, you put this one. And then onto the hand itself is this disc. I say they're not discs, it's the magical effects, but we'll call them discs for the purpose of this video. And this part here is where you put the fingers to hold it on, and it does hold on quite nicely. I have tried it. It doesn't fall off like the Scarlet Witch flame effects that she has with her figure. They were just awful for holding it on the figure. At least with these you have an idea of where to put the fingers. And for me, probably the best accessory on this figure is the book. Really great detailing on it. It's a lovely looking thing. I'll try and do this one-handed. You've got a little clip here, and it opens up, and inside you have all these pages of text. You can't quite see what it says, but at least it's nice that they've sort of gone that extra mile and done it for every page. Although on close inspection of it, it only seems to be 2 different types of pages that they've just duplicated throughout the book. You got this type here, and then if you turn the page, you got that one. But they do repeat it throughout the book on most of them. There are a couple of little changes here and there, so that's really nice that they've done that. Great accessory. The other accessory is the stand. Now this is the flight stand. I would have been happier if they give you another stand as well, so you can just a normal generic black stand, which is with the crutch grabber to hold him, because as we move around to the back of the figure in a minute, it does look a bit unsightly. Another accessory he has, I'll just zoom in here, he has 2 of these that you have to place on. Can't remember what they're called. And obviously the other 2 discs for showing off the magical effect. These are the larger ones, and there around his neck is the opened version of his necklace. Again, I still can't remember the name of it. As you can see, it fits down quite low on the body, so you can just fit it straight over the head. And the other accessory, of course, is the cape, and it is wired. Oh, let's just get this right. There we go. It is wired around the outside. You can sort of bend it a little bit. I've tried a little to do a few little bends here and there, but I'm not an expert poser. In fact, I'm a terrible poser of figures. And behind him is the box. This part just swivels and it opens up, which is really nice. Just something a little bit different, just to spruce their boxes up a little bit more, but the design on the box is quite nice. I do like that. So yeah, that's just a quick run through of the accessories. So I'll put him up on the turntable, and we'll take a close-up look of the head sculpt, the clothing, and how the discs fit onto his hands. So bear with me, we'll be back in a sec. Okay, so here we have him on the turntable, which doesn't have a battery still. I'll manually turn it around so you can get a fairly good sort of look at the clothing on this figure. Really nice the way they've done it. Cape is very nice, fits over him really nicely. It's got 2 magnets in the neck piece there, just about here, but you don't need them because this has got wiring effect around it as well, and it's quite tight, so it just fits on him and sits on him really nicely, doesn't fall off. So we'll zoom in now and take a closer look at the head sculpt and the figure itself. So that is a brilliant head sculpt by Hot Toys. That is definitely Benedict Cumberbatch. A lot of Hot Toys figures, or it doesn't have to be Hot Toys, a lot of other companies, the head sculpts are either a hit or miss. From certain angles it looks like the person who's portraying the character, from other angles it doesn't. But this one, it doesn't matter which angle you're looking at, you can definitely see it's Benedict Cumberbatch. And it's really nice detailing. The paintwork is top notch. Just try and steady my hand a little bit. It's always a pain when you zoom in. It just enhances the shakiness a lot more. But the paintwork on it is absolutely awesome. There is life in those eyes. A little bit of stubble as well around his chin, around the jawline. The sculpted hair, which I like sculpted hair, I prefer it to the rooted hair. Rooted hair is just a pain in the arse to try and get right out of the box. But there is slight different shades of colour in the hair. it's difficult to pick it out on this camera. It just all looks all black, apart from the grey bit around the sideburns there. But there is slight difference in the colour throughout the hair. Around to the back, so you can see the back of the hair. Really is a superb job done by Hot Toys. While we're around the back, but take a look at the closer look at the cape. You've got all this paneling on here. Very nice looking cape this, actually. To say, with the flight stand, it pinches it in. Do not like that. Also, if you're going to have him flying as well, because you've got this bloody great big pole at the back, you need to have him right at the top of the pole really for a flight pose, because that will not fit nicely underneath the cape. There's all the paneling again around the back of the cape, or the base of the cape. Of course, the cape in the film is like a character of its own. It's really, really nice detailing. You see you've got the wiring down the side of the cape, and you've got it. You haven't got any on the bottom, but it's all down here. Don't believe there's any in the back of the cape. I can't feel it. So no, it's just around the outside. While we're here, take a look at the hands, how they fit into these discs. You've got predefined slots at the end of the discs here, and the fingers just fit in really nicely. And it is quite snug. They do not fall off. I've had this figure in the detail now for a month. I've banged into the detail several times and they haven't fallen off. So you have no worries about that. We'll take a look at the front of the suit. Try and zoom in a little bit more. Again, I do apologise for the shakiness. You've got the bit of the plastic there around the neck. On the arms, you've got all this going on. Round to the belt, nicely detailed belt with a sort of leathery type look to it. Great stitching again. It's got like a small little tunic underneath. Looks a bit unsightly inside, but you're not going to see that. Down to the boots. Now this is actual cloth strapping. It's not moulded plastic, and you can see it's been built into the boot. I don't know whether they've glued that on or whether they've moulded the boot in around that, but you can see nice detailing on weathering there. And you can see the inside of the cape, really nice design inside the cape. Be interesting to see what sort of look he has in the Infinity Wars movie coming up later this year. Sorry again for the shakiness, but you can see that is an actual tassel he has on there. Could so easily have just gone with moulded plastic, but they've just gone that little bit extra with this figure. It is a great looking figure. It's not a film that I really enjoyed watching. It's a good backstory film of how he got to where he is. And I always find those sort of movies tend to be a little bit drawn out. I'm an all-action sort of movie fan, and there wasn't really that much in the film for me. But say the backstory was good. It builds him up for his next movie. I don't know if he's going to do another solo movie. Benedict Cumberbatch is one of those actors that I find just doesn't seem to reprise roles. So it'd be interesting to see if he does do another Doctor Strange. I'll say obviously he is in Infinity Wars, so hopefully he will do another solo movie, because I think he's pretty good as Doctor Strange. He's got the look, and that's very important for Marvel characters, that you have that look in your actors and actresses. But yeah, there you go. There is Doctor Strange. As I said, it's quite a short video for me, but hopefully it will give you an idea on whether, if you haven't got this figure and you're thinking about it, if you wouldn't mind going out and getting it. I'll just give you a quick idea on the articulation, it is very good. I've had no problems pulling this figure about, really. I just stuck with this pose because I like it. So I'm not one of these guys that makes videos that does loads of poses. It's just too time consuming for me. Those are the sort of guys that have thousands upon thousands of followers, and they make money from their videos with their advertisements that they have built into the videos. I don't make any money whatsoever on my videos. This is purely just a fun thing for me to do, and it's also making these videos for me. If I ever do, well, when I do come around to selling off my figures, at least I've got a video history of the figures that I've owned in my collection, so I can always look back on these videos and see them again, which is one of the main reasons why I make these videos as well. Yeah, I just like sharing my collection with people. I've had a change of mind yet again. People who watch a lot of my videos will know that I change my mind from video to video. I'm very unprofessional, but that's just the way I am. Originally, I was going to collect all the Marvel heroes anyway that Hot Toys were going to release. But I've changed my mind. I've decided to get rid of a few. There's a few figures in my collection that I bought just to complete a line. I mean, like my Avengers line, I went out and bought Vision just to complete the collection. But I had a bit of a rethink, and it's a figure that I didn't really like. As I say, I just needed it for a completist reason. So I'm selling him off. I'm selling off Ant-Man and Heartbreaker Iron Man and quite a few other figures that I'm getting rid of. And it's because just lately I've been getting into Star Wars a lot more. I mean, I did have Star Wars figures in the past and I flogged them. And I said on my last video that I didn't want to go into the Star Wars line anymore because there's just too many of them and it'd just be too much for me. But I've had a change of heart. I've fallen in love with Star Wars again. And seeing San Diego Comic-Con this year, the ones that they're releasing from the original 3 films that came out in the 70s and 80s, I thought, wow, those figures are really nice. And I've decided I'm going to start collecting Star Wars again. Yes, I know. Changing my mind all the time, but it's not costing me anything because I'm selling a figure to buy a figure, and I make a little bit of profit on the figures that I'm selling, not a great deal. I always look round for good deals on eBay and Amazon as well. Sometimes have some good deals, very rarely, but they do. And I always try and get a figure for less than what other people are paying. And I normally sell my figures for either what I paid for them or a little bit less, but I still make a profit on virtually every single figure that I sell. So changing my mind all the time, chopping and changing through figures, it's not costing me anything. So I'm not too bothered about that. If it was to cost me a lot of money, then I wouldn't do it. But this hobby is very addictive. People are always changing their mind all the time. I mean, I had the Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2 figures up on order, and I've cancelled them. I've decided not to bother with the Guardians of the Galaxy. I might get Gamora because, as a lot of you know, I'm quite partial to the female characters that Hot Toys release, and I might just have a shelf dedicated to Marvel females, which would be Black Widow and, I say, Gamora and a couple of others, Scarlet Witch. But yeah, that's just something that I'm planning on doing in the future. I say I'm going to have a detolf purely for Star Wars, dedicated to Star Wars. I've got a few already. I've got the 2 Reys, I've got 2 Jyn Ersos, which you will see very soon. I've also got Leia, who is on her way, and then I'm going to concentrate on getting the male figures. And when they're done, I will put them in the detolf and I'll show you a video on them, as always. So that's enough of me rabbling on and talking complete bollocks. You've probably all switched off by now. So until the next video, as always, thanks for watching. Take care. See you guys later.